They say that history favors the bold, yet it also teaches that the higher you climb, the harder the fall can be. Some leaders rise so fast, conquer so completely, and command so fully that they seem untouchable, almost beyond the reach of fate itself. And then, in a single night, everything can vanish. Cities can revolt, allies can betray, armies can scatter, and empires can crumble. This is the story of the leader who won everything, then lost it overnight. A tale of triumph, hubris, betrayal, and the fleeting nature of power. 10. The Meteoric Rise. The leader began humbly, with little more than intelligence, ambition, and charisma. He observed carefully, spoke strategically, and acted with audacity. Every calculated move brought him closer to power. Alliances formed under his influence. Rivals stumbled under misdirection, and victories accumulated with an almost supernatural inevitability. Armies marched at his command. Governors obeyed without hesitation, and the people hailed him as a visionary. His meteoric rise seemed unstoppable, as if destiny itself had conspired in his favor. Yet, hidden beneath the glimmering fade of success were fragile threads, subtle cracks that no one noticed, cracks that would become the fault lines of his downfall. 9. The Empire of Ambition. At the peak of his power, he ruled vast territories, immense wealth, and unparalleled influence. Borders expanded under his name, trade thrived under his policies, and his armies dominated both land and sea. Advisors and generals deferred to him, diplomats sought his favor, and even distant monarchs regarded him with awe. Yet even in his greatest triumph, there were shadows. Minor insurrections simmered quietly, conspiracies whispered through corridors, and a few skeptical allies quietly tested his limits. The empire appeared invincible, yet the foundation was not entirely secure. 8. The Web of Loyalty. A leader is only as strong as those who serve him. At first, loyalty flowed naturally, but as power grew, so did ambition and envy among those closest to him. Trusted generals eyed his throne, ministers whispered doubts, and confidants quietly maneuvered for influence. On the surface, their loyalty seemed absolute. Yet the seeds of betrayal were sown quietly, unnoticed. By the time the night of calamity arrived, those seeds would blossom into the very force that would dismantle his empire in a matter of hours. 7. The Night of Whispers. The fateful night began without warning. No invading armies approached, no natural disasters struck, and yet chaos descended like a storm. Couriers failed to deliver critical messages, reinforcements were delayed, and crucial alliances faltered at the worst possible moment. Some generals hesitated, unsure whom to obey. Some advisors abandoned counsels to safeguard their own interests. The night was a labyrinth of confusion, deception, and unforeseen misfortune. By dawn, the unstoppable leader found himself isolated, surrounded by forces both external and internal that moved with terrifying precision. 6. The First Signs of Collapse. As the first light of morning revealed the situation, the empire began to fracture. Cities that had celebrated his victories declared autonomy. Armies that had marched loyally now paused, confused by contradictory orders. Merchants withheld supplies, fearful of instability. Every element of the empire that had once been under his control seemed suddenly beyond his command. Panic spread faster than armies could march, and even the most seasoned commanders struggled to maintain cohesion. The meticulously built empire, once a monument to human ambition, teetered on the edge of ruin. 5. Betrayal among the trusted. History often marks betrayal as the catalyst for a fall, and this night was no exception. Those he trusted implicitly, generals, ministers, and advisors, acted in their own interest. Some switched allegiance to rivals, others withheld vital intelligence, while a few actively sabotaged efforts to regain control. Even minor betrayals, when combined, created an unstoppable chain reaction. Every hidden action weakened the empire's defenses, undermined morale, and dismantled the foundation of power he had spent years constructing. Loyalty, once assumed to be unbreakable, proved fragile in the crucible of crisis. 4. Desperation and miscalculation. In the face of unprecedented collapse, the leader acted with urgency and desperation. Orders were issued with frantic energy, strategic retreats became reckless, and impromptu campaigns replaced careful planning. Decisions that would have seemed brilliant in calm conditions now backfired, producing chaos instead of control. Historians still analyze his choices, debating whether they were errors or the only possible attempts to salvage an unraveling situation. Regardless, the night had revealed one immutable truth: fortune can be fleeting, and even genius cannot always outpace catastrophe. 3. Citizens and soldiers in shock. While leaders and generals struggled, the ordinary people experienced confusion and fear. Markets emptied, villages shuddered, and whispers of doom spread like wildfire. Soldiers who had once fought with unwavering resolve wavered as their chain of command faltered. Families who had celebrated victories were suddenly confronted with uncertainty. The populace, often overlooked in narratives of power, became both witnesses and victims of the sudden collapse. Their reactions amplified the chaos, as trust eroded not only in rulers, but in the very structures of society that had sustained them. 2. Lessons etched in time. The fall of a seemingly invincible leader teaches timeless lessons. Success can blind, and power can seduce even the wisest minds into overconfidence. Alliances are temporary, loyalty is conditional, and history often turns on moments too subtle to be anticipated. Scholars have debated for centuries how such a complete collapse could occur, studying chain reactions, psychological pressure, and unforeseen coincidences. The lesson remains clear: no empire, no matter how vast, no leader, no matter how brilliant, is immune to the unpredictable tides of fate. 1. The legacy of the overnight fall. Though he lost everything, the story of this leader endures as a cautionary tale. Empires rose and fell around the echoes of that night. Successes were celebrated but remembered with humility. Scholars and generals study the events as proof that power is provisional, loyalty is fragile, and history can be rewritten in hours. The leader's rise and fall remind us that human ambition and brilliance are intertwined with uncertainty. Fortune may favor the bold, but it also humbles them, proving that even the mightiest can be undone in a single fateful night. The tale of the leader who won everything then lost it overnight serves as a timeless reminder that ambition, strategy, and vision, while powerful, are always tempered by uncertainty. Even the most brilliant leaders are vulnerable to betrayal, unforeseen events, and the fragility of human loyalty. History does not just reward skill and audacity, it tests them, sometimes cruelly, in ways no one could anticipate. And the lessons of this sudden collapse continue to echo across centuries, a testament to the enduring truth that nothing, however formidable, is ever permanent.